everyone. This is Karen.
Woof, woof. I'm Shane.
Today we're looking at part 2 of
You can teach an old dog new tricks and other incorrect sayings. Part 2.
And the vocabulary words are pattern.
Pattern.
Glenn is trying to save money, so he started keeping a record of his spending patterns.
Rely.
Rely.
Pets rely on their owners to take care of them.
Inaccurate.
Inaccurate.
The news report stating that the fire killed 3 people is inaccurate.
Record.
Record.
The singer's new album broke the record for the most sales in a 1-week period.
Ripe.
Ripe.
My grandfather passed away at the ripe old age of 88. So, we're still talking about some interesting sayings that people say, but maybe they don't make sense or maybe they are incorrect.
And I think one of the most common ones that really confuses people is to say somebody is blind as a bat.
Because bats are not blind.
Yeah, they use echolocation a lot to find out where things are and to interact with their environment, but they can still see.
You're right.
Right?
What's another one? Oh, you can't teach an old dog new tricks. But that's not true.
Right. So I think this saying, they don't really mean that you can't teach an old dog new tricks. It just means as we get older, just like humans, the older we get, the less likely we are to change or try new things.
I guess you're right.
Right? And
but there are definitely exceptions.
Of course there are, right? Yeah, but that makes it sound like you can't teach somebody or you can't learn something new when you're older. But the truth is that you can, so don't believe it.
That's right.
It's a lie. All right?
That's right.
Let's learn some more.
All right.
Learn.
Enjoy.
You can teach an old dog new tricks and other incorrect sayings.
If you find it difficult to read this sentence, some might say that you are blind as a bat, but they'd be wrong. You see, bats aren't blind. Their eyes work perfectly well, but people thought that they couldn't see because of their erratic flight patterns. It's true that bats don't rely on their eyes as much as their ears because they use their ears in a process called echolocation to see the world around them.
Today's lesson is called You Can Teach an Old Dog New Tricks and Other Incorrect Sayings, Part 2. Hello everyone, my name is Jeff, aka the Cat's Pajamas.
Oh, you're as cute as a something.
And you're no bee's knees slouch yourself.
I'm sweating like a pig. Now, we've learned yesterday that these expressions, the cat's pajamas, bee's knees, sweating like a pig,
they're pretty much nonsense.
There you go. Cute as a bug's ear. They're all pretty much nonsense. They don't really make a lot of sense if you read them literally the way they're written, but when you learn some history, then you learn why we use these expressions. So let's carry on and find out about some more sort of animal-related expressions and why they might not be good science.
Let's get back into the nonsense.
Don't get your science from animal expressions.
Anyways, if you find it difficult to read this sentence, you can't see so well. Well, some might say that you are blind as a bat, but they'd be wrong. You see, pigs don't sweat, and bats aren't blind, and cats don't wear pajamas, and bugs don't have ears, and bees don't have knees.
That's right.
I'm sensing a pattern to our lesson here.
I don't think English teachers make good science teachers. Anyways, let's have a look at this expression, blind as a bat. You know, bats fly around at night. They must be blind, right? They don't need eyes. It's dark all the time. Well, actually, their eyes work perfectly well. But people thought that they couldn't see because of their erratic flight patterns. But that has nothing to do with their eyes. It's more about their wings and stuff. But anyways, yes, if you've ever seen a bat flying around at night, you can often tell the difference between a bat and a bird flying because bats have these erratic flight patterns. They're kind of like moths or butterflies. They can change direction very quickly. So people back then thought they must be blind. That's why they fly in such a crazy way.
Yeah, erratic or crazy. Those mean about the same thing. Yeah, an erratic pattern, there might as well not be a pattern to that at all. That's the idea. Anyway, so far in this lesson, we have examined a phrase, and we have looked it over, and we found that it's nonsensical. It has happened over and over again. So like I said before, a pattern is forming. By the way, when you are talking about a pattern, you're talking about an often predictable arrangement of numbers, shapes, topics, etc. Like if I were to say 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, that would be a pattern. That would represent the odd numbers between 1 and 9. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, that would be a pattern representing the even numbers from 2 to 10. Anyways, for example, Glenn is trying to save money, so he started keeping a record of his spending patterns.
So it's not because bats can't see that they fly in this erratic way, and certainly they are not blind. It says it's true that bats don't rely on their eyes as much as their ears because they use their ears in a process called echolocation to see the world around them. True, you know, they might use their ears more than their eyes, but we use our eyes more than our ears, but our ears still work perfectly well. It's just that humans rely on our eyes more than other senses. Well, with bats, it's their ears that's most important, but their eyes are totally fine. When you rely on something, this verb means you depend on this thing. You need this thing. You kind of want it there. You think it's always going to be there, and if it wasn't there, if it went away for some reason, your life would be more difficult. You'd have to make some big changes. Kids rely on their parents. Something else that relies on humans, pets. Pets rely on their owners to take care of them. You could say babies or children rely on their parents to take care of them in kind of the same way.
There you go. And by the way, you can't really see with your ears or with echolocation. That's why this word see is in quotes. We're bringing attention to this. You can't really see with these things, so we're using those quotes to kind of point that out. Their ears kind of act like eyes, but you can't really see with your ears. Anyways, folks, with that, it's time for us to take a short break, but don't go away. We'll be right back after this.
Hello， 大家好，我是 Hanny。第一天的课文有介绍几个动物谚语，那么直接照字面意思看，你会觉得很荒谬。不过其实它们都是有由来的。Mike 老师在开场的时候用到 literally 这个副词，就是指照字面地。我们来拼一下这个字 literally，literally 可以指照字面地，或是也可以表达确实地、不夸张地。好，那么下一个要介绍的谚语是 blind as a bat。跟蝙蝠一样瞎，意思就是说视力不好，看不清楚。可是蝙蝠并不是瞎子，它们的眼睛功能非常好。那过去人们因为蝙蝠的飞行模式不规则，就以为它们看不见。那确实啦，蝙蝠它们依赖眼睛的程度不如耳朵，因为蝙蝠是在回声定位的过程中，用耳朵来感知、来看这个周遭的世界。好，我们先来看两个单字。Pattern 它表示模式或是方式，它也有图案的意思。Jeff 老师提到模式通常是可预测的，老师用到 predictable 这个字，就是 predict 预测，再加上 able 来当形容词，形容可预测的、可预料的。那么文中的 erratic 它是形容词，形容不规则的、不确定的或是难以预测的。好，下一个单字 rely 是动词，表示依靠、仰赖，后面必须搭配 on 或是 upon。那这边还有三个重点，第一个 it's true 加上 that 子句就可以表达什么什么的确是如此，例如 it's true that Anne is expecting a baby. Anne 的确怀孕了。好，第二个重点是 as much as 表示程度和什么什么一样多，例如 He doesn't love soccer as much as basketball. 他喜爱足球的程度不如篮球，没有跟篮球一样多。第三个重点，文中写到 a process called echolocation， 一个称作回声定位的过程，其中这个 called 它是由 which is called 简化而来的分词片语。那我们来学这样的用法。好，形容词子句呢，它可以简化成分词片语，也就是省略了主格关系代名词，然后把动词改成分词。如果这个动词是主动或进行，我们就用现在分词 VING， 被动就用过去分词 PP。例如Dana is looking at a portrait that was painted by a local artist. Dana 正在看一幅由当地画家所画的肖像。那么句中的 that was painted by a local artist， 它是形容词子句。那么这时候 that was painted 有没有注意到它是被动语态？它可以其实直接简化成过去分词 painted， 那么句子就会变成 Dana is looking at a portrait painted by a local artist。解法课文中。
You can teach an old dog new tricks and other incorrect sayings.
You can't teach an old dog new tricks is another example of an inaccurate saying that people use. As with people, dogs slow down with age, but it is absolutely possible for an older dog to learn and do new things well. Just ask Stump, the spaniel which broke the record for the oldest dog ever to win Best in Show at the ripe old age of 10. That's 66 years old in human years.
Okay, let's take a look at another inaccurate saying. It says next, you can't teach an old dog new tricks is another example of an inaccurate saying that people use. So apparently you can teach an old dog new tricks. An old dog is capable of learning. How about that? Anyways, very simply, the adjective inaccurate. It means that something is not quite right, it's off the target, so on, so forth. For example, the news report stating that the fire killed 3 people is inaccurate. Some of the facts there don't quite add up, they don't quite make sense, they're not accurate. Maybe more than 3 people died. Maybe nobody died at all. One way or another, this information is not quite right. It is inaccurate. Anyways, an old dog can't learn new tricks. Not true. As with people, dogs slow down with age, but it is absolutely possible for an older dog to learn and do new things well.
Absolutely. This expression, you can't teach an old dog new tricks. This is the kind of expression an older person might use when trying to use a cell phone. And how do I send an email? I don't know how to figure this. What are these buttons for? Oh, Grandpa, you can't teach an old dog new tricks. Well, no, you can. It just might take Grandpa a little bit longer to learn how to send an email or post a picture on Instagram, but just like an old dog learning a new trick, an old person can learn new technology and stuff. And you don't
just ask Stump.
That's right. You don't believe us. Go call Stump.
Who's Stump?
Well, let's find out. Just ask Stump. The spaniel, a type of dog, the spaniel which broke the record for the oldest dog ever to win Best in Show at the ripe old age of 10. There you go. So this would be like a singer in their 60s releasing their first album and winning a Grammy and beating all the young pop stars of the day. That would be quite a record, quite an amazing thing that had never been done before. And that's basically what a record is. A record is a sort of limit, the highest, the most, the greatest. In all of history, people record things and say, oh, this is the fastest car. That was the fastest time to run 100 meters. This is the biggest cake that's ever been made, and we keep these records. Of course, the Guinness Book of World Records is famous for having the biggest bug, the tallest building, the largest pizza, and all that kind of stuff. And if you break the record, you go past that. So I think Usain Bolt still holds the record for running 100 meters, the fastest, but probably in, the next 10 or 20 years, someone might come along and break that record and run slightly faster. For example, the singer's new album broke the record for the most sales in a 1-week period. It was Taylor Swift's last album from last year. It sold 20 million copies in 1 week. This new one, 22 million copies.
That's like more than anyone else.
It's a new record. It's the most in history.
Wow. Anyways, we also have the word ripe to talk about here. Everyone, when we're talking about the word ripe, we're describing, I don't know, yellow bananas, okay? Not the green ones, not the brown ones, not the black ones that you might make banana bread from. No, you want those yellow bananas. Why? Because those are the ripe bananas. When we're talking about a ripe vegetable, a ripe fruit, we're talking about that fruit or vegetable that's just right. It's ready to be eaten. Now, you can also use this particular word in a phrase referring to age, usually old people. You can say something like, my grandfather passed away at the ripe old age of 88. He was really old. Now, we've got Stump, who apparently won Best in Show at the ripe old age of 10. That's old for dogs. Yeah, that's 66 years. 66 years old, I should say, in human years. That's a ripe old age.
Absolutely. That would be like a 66-year-old man or woman being the top model in Paris that
beating
year.
Usain Bolt.
Or beating Usain Bolt and being more popular than
Taylor Swift.
At the same time. Amazing accomplishment by Stump. Well done, sir. All right, let's take a break and then we'll be back with more about weird animal expressions.
好，下一个要介绍的谚语是 You can't teach an old dog new tricks. 你无法教老狗新把戏。这也是不准确的说法。虽然狗狗跟人一样会老，速度会变慢，可是年纪大的狗狗绝对有可能学习新的事物。像有一只西班牙猎犬，它以10岁的高龄赢得最佳表演。10岁的狗狗就相当于人类66岁。这只狗狗是有史以来年纪最大的赢家，它打破了年龄记录。好，这边有3个单字 inaccurate， 它是形容词，形容不准确的、不精确的。Charles 老师刚刚用到片语动词 add up。add up 它其实有合理、说得通的意思。It just doesn't add up， 字面意思是加总起来就是不对，就是都不拢，那就可以表达说不合情理、说不通的意思。好，下一个单字 record 这个字是名词，表示记录。Break the record 表示破纪录。我们顺便学一下 Guinness World Records 可以用来表达金氏世界纪录。好，再来看 ripe 这个形容词可以形容蔬果是熟的，是成熟的。那么在文中它是指高龄的。A ripe old age 表示高龄、高寿的意思。接回到课文中。
You can teach an old dog new tricks and other incorrect sayings.
The truth is, the lion's share of the animal sayings we use are accurate. So, though we could talk about these incorrect animal sayings till the cows come home, we have bigger fish to fry.
See if you can spot an animal saying in the next sentence. The next sentence says, the truth is, the lion's share of the animal sayings we use are accurate.
Oh, okay.
The lion's share.
The lion's share. The majority. Most of the animal sayings we use are accurate. So, though we could talk about these incorrect animal sayings till the cows come home.
There's another one.
We have bigger fish to fry.
And another one.
Okay, yes. Doing something till the cows come home is doing it for a very long time. And if you have bigger fish to fry, you have more important things to do. I guess frying the small fish is a waste of your time, so why not spend your time frying the bigger fish? Kind of makes sense.
It totally makes so much sense.
But turn on the fan, because when you fry fish, it does make a bit of a smell.
It's true, but if you cook them well, hey, good fish, it's the bee's knees.
I'll have the lion's share of that.
Like cat's pajamas.
Oh, cute as a bug's ear.
Anyways, what do you think, everybody? Can you think of any other English sayings that are inaccurate or make no sense? And why is the saying inaccurate?
That's a really good question. I can't actually think of any good animal expression. Someone is dead as a dodo. No, dodos are dead. They're extinct. That one absolutely works. As the crow flies, we use that to talk about a direction. But that one's fairly accurate. Crows will fly in a straight line, whereas we have to take the roads and stuff like that. Let's see.
Happy as a pig in his pen, but pigs are happy?
An elephant never forgets. Well, elephants have a good memory.
You know what? I think that our article said it best. Most animal sayings are quite accurate. I would say that this does make sense.
Yeah, absolutely. I would hope so because, we've been looking at them for a long time. We should have accurate animal sayings, but be careful of the ones that are inaccurate. And anytime you use a saying, why not think about what's the logic or the history or the story behind this saying? Does it actually make sense?
Anyways, folks, with that, it's time for us to end our lesson and say bye-bye.
好，课文最后写到，事实上啊，大部分我们使用的动物谚语都是准确的。因此，尽管我们可以谈论这些不准确的动物谚语谈很久，但我们有更重要的事要做。好，文中这边故意用了好几个用语，我们先来看文中的 the lion's share， 它是指某事物的最大一部分。那这边再介绍2个动物谚语的用法，一个是Till the cows come home， 或者是 until the cows come home， 字面意思是直到母牛回家，它是用来表达很长一段时间、很久的意思。例如 ，You can wait until the cows come home，but he'll never come back。你可以永无止境的等下去，但他不会回来的。好，第2个用语是have bigger fish to fry， 字面意思是有更大的鱼要煎，用来只说有更重要的事情要做。那也可以说 have better fish to fry， 或者是 have other fish to fry。那这个片语你可以用在别人请你帮忙的时候，可是你有更重要的事要处理，把它用来当做拒绝别人的一种说法。好，假设同学要请你帮他看作文，你这时候就可以说I'm afraid I can't help you. I have bigger fish to fry at the moment. 恐怕没办法帮你，我现在有更重要的事情要做。好，那么以上是今天的讲解，同学别走开，马上回来哦。
Hello， 各位同学，大家好，我是季安老师。我们来看一下今天的课程内容啊。我们今天呢要讲新的这个问题类别啦。我们今天要看这个人物好的地点。OK， 那一样啊，就是跟职业类别有点像，我们要透过关键字，透过上下文去判断 ，alright？ 它常见的问题长这个样子啊，就是这些细节题啊，它会问哪些？问时间啊，when should something be completed？ 什么时候要完成？when will 什么什么东西 take place？ 什么时候举行？问地点，where is something taking place？ 在哪里？有时间有地点问多少钱啦 ？How many people do the speakers expect for the event？ 问方式 ，How will the man and woman contact？ 是要用手机，是要什么样？用 email 还是什么东西去联系 ？OK？What does A give B？ 他给他什么 ？What does the man or woman request？ 要求什么东西 ？OK？ 这些都是还蛮细节的东西啊。那细节就是你一定要在他播出来之前先看过，知道说他等一下要问有几个人哦，他等一下要问颜色哦，我先有个谱心里有个谱之后再去听，这样会比较容易去抓到。OK？ 那记得哦，再次提醒哦，细节题听到就要马上回答，马上画卡。OK？就是说 A B C D 呢，你听到说蓝色，就马上知道了，就先画一下，先点一下，不然等一下你就会忘记了。只有大意题才可以等，因为大意是从头贯穿到尾 ，OK， 所以大意题是可以等的。好，那我们来听一下这个细节啊，不难 ，OK， 准备好 ，How much is the suit？ 他等一下就讲说，这个东西多少钱 ？OK？Excuse
me, but I'm interested in this suit over here.How much is it going for?
You're in luck. That is one of our best suits, and it normally goes for $1,100. But this week we have a special price. It's on sale for $800.
$800? I've never paid that much for a suit. That seems a little pricey, don't you think?
Not when you consider the quality of the brand. It's a well-known and very fashionable brand, and the high quality means this suit will last for years.Question: How much is the suit?
答案到底是 B 还是 C 呢？答案是 C 哈，因为他说1100，可是呢现在比较便宜哈，所以答案是 C。我们看一下，他说 I'm interested in this one suit over here. How much is it going for? 他要多少钱 ？How much is it going for? 所以呢，你之后在讲话的时候也可以把这句话学起来啊。How much is it going for? 他要多少钱呢？ You're in luck， 这个就是业务推销的手法。哎呀，你今天可真是幸运了。That is one of our best suits。OK， 这是我们卖的最好的套装了。It normally goes for 1100， 通常原价1100。But this week we have a special price. It's on sale for 800. 800! Oh, I've never paid that much for a suit. 套装800元，太贵了。That seems a little pricey. P-R-I-C-E-Y 有另外一个拼法是这样 ，pricey 也是可以但是这个比较常用 P-R-I-C-E-Y。Don't you think？ 你不觉得这样有点贵吗？Oh, now when you consider the quality of this brand， 你考虑一下这个品牌的品质你就知道是 OK 的。It's a well-known and very fashionable brand， 它是有名而且呢非常时尚的 fashionable。记得fashionable 才是时尚的不是 fashion。我们台语中文里面常常讲说你穿这样好 fashion 啊，我听到这个我就会翻白眼。OK， 是 fashionable， alright， fashionable 才是时尚的。And high quality means this suit will last for years. Last for years 可以持续用好几年。OK， 以上是我们今天的课程内容。我是季安老师，我们下堂课见，拜拜。
See you next time.